Melchizedek is one of the most mysterious and fascinating figures in the entire Bible. His name appears in only 3 places, yet he has puzzled and inspired theologians for centuries. Who was this king priest who blessed Abraham with bread and wine? A mere man, a prophetic image of the Messiah, or a divine manifestation? Today, in Bible stories, we dive into the mystery of Melchizedek, the eternal priest. To understand Melchizedek, we must first understand what priesthood meant in Israel. Priests in the Old Testament came from one tribe only, Levi, a descendant of Jacob. They were mortal men who inherited their role from their fathers. Their mission was to intercede for the people before God, offer sacrifices, teach the law, and care for the sanctuary. Each priest lived, served, and died. Then another would take his place. A priesthood that was temporary, human, imperfect. Melchizedek first appears in Genesis chapter 14, in the middle of a battle story. Abraham had just rescued his nephew Lot, defeating several enemy kings. On his return, he meets this mysterious figure. Then Melchizedek, king of Salem and priest of God Most High, brought out bread and wine. He blessed Abram. Genesis chapter 14 versicle 18 to 20. 2 things stand out. He is the king of Salem, the ancient name for Jerusalem. He is a priest of God Most High, something unusual for that time. He does not belong to the tribe of Levi, because Levi hadn't even been born yet. Abraham gives him a tithe of everything he had won, acknowledging his spiritual authority. And one detail should not go unnoticed: bread and wine, 2 elements that, centuries later, would become central in Jesus' Last Supper. Centuries later, in Psalm chapter 110, King David writes a surprising prophecy: "You are a priest forever, according to the order of Melchizedek." Psalm chapter 110 versicle 4, this verse, later quoted in the New Testament, points out that the Messiah would not have a Levitical priesthood, but one that is eternal and different, like Melchizedek's. The author of Hebrews explains it powerfully: without father, without mother, without genealogy, without beginning of days or end of life. Hebrews chapter 7 versicle 3, Melchizedek becomes a figure of Christ, the only eternal priest, whose position was not inherited but appointed directly by God. This is where the mystery deepens. Who was Melchizedek? Theologians and scholars have proposed several interpretations: a real king of his time, a righteous man used by God as a prophetic figure, a type of Christ, a symbolic foreshadowing of the Messiah, like the Passover lamb, a theophany, a visible appearance of Christ before his incarnation. This view is more debated but has been supported by some church fathers. What we do know is that his name means king of righteousness, and he was king of Salem, that is, king of peace. Sounds familiar? Melchizedek reminds us that God was already working beyond human structures, even before the law. That the true priesthood is not based on bloodlines, but on divine election. And that in Jesus we have the perfect high priest, who offered bread and wine, and gave himself. Today, every time we participate in the Eucharist, we remember that gesture of Melchizedek, which points to the cross, and to the resurrection. Maybe we'll never fully know who Melchizedek was. But we do know whom he was pointing to: Jesus, the King of Righteousness, the Prince of Peace, the eternal priest who intercedes for us. And you, had you ever heard of Melchizedek? Do you think he was a symbolic figure or a divine appearance? Share it in the comments.